Aftershock, written by Robert B. Reich, examines the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis and its long-term effects on the American economy and society. Reich argues that the economic downturn was not just a temporary setback but a symptom of deeper structural issues within capitalism, particularly the growing inequality between the wealthy elite and the rest of the population. He contends that this inequality has been a major factor in the economic instability that followed, and that addressing it is key to creating a more sustainable and prosperous future. Reich begins by exploring the causes of the financial crisis, pointing to the unsustainable levels of debt accumulated by both individuals and financial institutions. He highlights how deregulation, lax lending standards, and speculative practices contributed to the collapse. However, Reich asserts that the real root cause of the crisis lies in the concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a few, which has led to a stagnation of wages for the majority of Americans and a shift away from broad-based economic growth. The book outlines how this increasing wealth disparity has created a vicious cycle, where the wealthy are able to amass even more wealth, while the middle class and poor struggle to make ends meet. As the rich get richer, they spend less of their income on goods and services, resulting in decreased demand and slower economic growth. Meanwhile, the vast majority of people are forced to borrow more to maintain their standard of living, which exacerbates the financial instability in the system. Reich also delves into the political implications of rising inequality, noting that the concentration of wealth has led to greater political power for the elite. This, in turn, has resulted in policies that favor the wealthy, such as tax cuts for the rich and reductions in social services for the rest of the population. These policies, Reich argues, have further exacerbated the divide between the rich and the poor, while undermining the social contract that has traditionally supported the middle class. In response to these challenges, Reich offers a series of recommendations for addressing inequality and promoting a more inclusive economic system. He advocates for policies that would increase wages for the majority of workers, such as raising the minimum wage and strengthening labor unions. He also calls for reforms to the financial system to prevent future crises, including stricter regulations on banks and a return to policies that prioritize long-term investment over short-term speculation. Reich emphasizes the importance of education and workforce training as key components of addressing inequality. He argues that by equipping workers with the skills needed for high-paying jobs in the modern economy, we can create a more equal society where everyone has the opportunity to succeed. He also calls for a stronger social safety net, including universal health care and expanded access to education, to ensure that people are not left behind in an increasingly globalized and technological world. In conclusion, Aftershock provides a critical analysis of the financial crisis and its long-term impact on American society. Reich argues that the key to addressing the economic instability and inequality that followed the crisis lies in rethinking the structure of capitalism and implementing policies that promote shared prosperity. The book highlights the need for a more equitable distribution of wealth and power, as well as reforms to the political and economic systems that have contributed to the growing divide between the rich and the rest of the population.